Hey, Matt. So there's been a viral podcast going around, and we've had lots of clients talking about it. So I thought you and I could talk about it today.
Yeah, I've also read that viral or listened to that viral podcast. So let's take it to the bikes and talk about it.
Sweet. So yeah, the podcast that got really popular was talking about kind of a couple of things, but mainly focusing around nutrition timing and what should that nutrition look like around working out. And so we get
Between males and females.
and
So
yeah,
it's definitely
differences
Yep.
between males and females. In our last video, we kind of talked about the nutrient timing differences and what those are and why that is. But now people know when they should eat, but
Yeah.
we need to talk about what they should be eating.
Yeah, exactly. So prior to working out, you should be getting 35 grams of carbs, which may seem like, oh my God, that's a lot. And you'll also be getting 15 grams of protein. And so what does that exactly look like? So getting some grains in, some vegetables. Those are some examples of some carbs that you can get in, but 35 grams of carbs isn't actually that much. You
No.
can really get a lot of carbs in real easy.
Yeah.
15 grams of protein might be a little bit more difficult. So what
Yeah.
that might look like for you, Morgan.
Yeah. So, I mean, typically for me, just because of my lifestyle, I end up doing a protein shake before or during my workout even, which I know isn't the best nutrient timing. But just,
I can't handle that.
Yeah. I am, usually sneaking in, especially a strength workout, but even cardio in between seeing clients. And so I try and just drink a protein shake like in the session before my break so that I can have enough energy going into my workout and then eat actual food after. If you're not having a protein shake, I know like the classic peanut butter toast is kind of high in fat also, but honestly I've always stomached like that well. For carbs, I also steal my daughter's applesauce packets if I need a quick carb boost.
Yeah.
Those are quick because, again, it's not a lot of, carbohydrates that you need.
Yeah. And then,
like you said,
there's different, pre-workout drinks that you could get. But if you want, there's, stimulant ones, but I'm not talking about those. I'm just talking about, there's actually, carbohydrate drinks you can, if you're not wanting to eat anything, as far as, the active chewing, you can drink those. And those have pretty good grams of carbs in there, and they might also come with protein in it, but I haven't seen those. But how many grams of protein is in your protein drink?
So depending on when I'm having that, but usually it's closer to 20 grams of protein. So I can also drink part of it, before and then part of it after, depending on how close to my workout I'm having the protein drink. And I think this is super important to make sure. We train people starting at 6 a.m. So if you're used to going to the gym totally fasted, and you feel like I can't eat breakfast before I go work out, I've heard people getting the coffee creamer with a little bit of protein in it and just making a small coffee with some protein coffee creamer and just drinking even a little bit of that. It gives you a little bit of a caffeine boost and the protein just going into your workout. We also see it helps with lightheadedness. So if you're someone who gets lightheaded or nauseous during your workout, really managing your pre-workout nutrition, I think, is super important.
Yeah, and there's also a lot of craze about mushroom coffee.
Oh yeah.
So there's also a little bit more of calories and carbs in there too. So from that, but there's not too much protein unless you get specific mushroom protein coffee. But yeah, just adding a little bit of protein
egg,
into it.
One hard-boiled egg is again, you want to watch how much fat you're having before working out, especially if you're going to do more cardio. But if you're strength training, an egg or two, with one piece of toast is plenty really to eat. You don't have to eat, like Matt said, a ton.
But for after the workout, I wouldn't recommend having 5-6 eggs.
Yeah.
That's close enough protein. But if you're getting 20 to 30 grams for after your workout, that's a lot of eggs. So like,
yeah.
And that's a lot of protein shake. So if you have like,
yeah.
I mean, a whole protein shake before and maybe a little bit during, and then have another whole one after, like that's a lot of one type of protein. So you want to like balance out the types.
Right.
So like if you're somebody who works out, let's say around like 5, then you can go home and have dinner, and that's probably a good adequate number of protein.
5 p.m.
5 p.m. Yeah, not 5 a.m.
You
but
can
if you
also
work out
eat dinner,
at 5 a.m., you can go home and have a full breakfast.
Yeah.
And then go to work. Or if you don't have time for that, that's where that protein shake can come into play.
Right.
Or it's like nutritional shakes that have a little bit more than just protein. They might have a lot of calories and then carbs in it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a full after workout shake, and all our clients do that too.
Yeah. Or like just a little something on your ride home, and then get home and eat a full meal. If you're someone
have that timing.
Yeah. If you're someone who eats meat, it's pretty easy to eat, you know, depending on how big of a person you are and what your specific protein recommendations are, 4 to 8 ounces of meat, and then filling in with, you know, balancing your meal out with carbs and fat. The other things with carbs and fat probably have a little bit extra protein too, to get you to your full protein recommendations. And it's really good to focus on, I always tell people, build your meals around protein and then fill in with the amount of carbs and fat that sit well with you, fit in your lifestyle. And again, this is optimizing your nutrition. So if you can't eat right away after your workout, it's not like your whole workout was wasted.
No.
But you also, like, if you're putting in the time to work out and do a good job, you might as well try and make the most of it by layering on the nutrition piece. And those come in steps, and that's, you know, what we talk about with our clients a lot.
There's a few clients that know that I used to be pescatarian, so not eating any type of meats besides seafood. And so to get more protein in, I would use like beans, peas, but don't do any nuts, but that's another option too. That's really good. But like there's a brand of pea protein milk that has 8 grams of protein per cup.
Oh, okay.
And so if you do like 2 cups, you have 16 grams of protein of just the milk, and straight from pea protein.
Nice.
But if you don't want like too much of one protein type, then you could have that, and then you could do eggs too, but it depends on your diet style.
And having a lot of
beans and stuff to that,
beans and vegetables, and different vegetables have varying amounts of protein. But there's plenty of ways to get the protein and carbs after the workout. So
you can tell it's important because we've been talking about protein for the last like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Not carbs, but carbs are really easy to get, and there's a lot of different forms to get.
Yeah.
But then the healthy fats, like such as avocados, those are really good, and they also keep you full.
Or cooking your vegetables in, you know, something like an avocado oil. You'll get your fats in that way. So
that definitely helps for your workouts.
So even though, most of the time we talk about strength training and exercise, we also think it's important to talk about your nutrition to support your training. And although we're not nutrition experts, we've been around long enough and know enough about the general research that we thought we'd talk about this today. But if you have any questions, you can reach out. Otherwise, we'll see you next time.